The dancing plague of 1518 stands as one of the most surreal and baffling events in recorded history, a darkly fascinating chapter that defies easy explanation. It began in July of that year in the bustling city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, when a woman named Frau Trophea stepped into the streets and began to dance. There was no music, no festival, and no apparent joy in her movements, only a frenetic compulsion that seemed to possess her entirely. For hours, then days, she continued, oblivious to exhaustion or the incredulous stares of onlookers. Soon others joined her, and what had been a single act of strange behavior became an epidemic. By the end of the month, it was reported that as many as 400 people had been gripped by the same uncontrollable urge to dance. This wasn't the exuberant dancing of celebration. It was a grim and involuntary spectacle. Witnesses described participants as wild-eyed, their faces etched with desperation as they flailed and stomped, unable to stop. Some reportedly screamed for help, begging for release from their bodies' refusal to rest. The toll was immense. Many collapsed from exhaustion. Others succumbed to strokes, heart attacks, or sheer physical breakdown. Estimates of fatalities vary, but historical records suggest that dozens, possibly more, lost their lives during the plague. The authorities of Strasbourg were as baffled as they were alarmed. Initially, they sought spiritual explanations, believing the plague to be a divine punishment or a curse. A popular theory at the time involved the wrath of Saint Vitus, a patron saint thought to afflict sinners with uncontrollable dancing. To appease this perceived divine anger, the city's leaders constructed a stage for the dancers and hired musicians, hoping that by allowing the compulsion to run its course with organized performances, it would abate. Instead, this intervention may have worsened the crisis, drawing more participants into the frenzy. As historians have revisited this case, several theories have emerged to explain the phenomenon, though none are definitive. One prevalent explanation is that of mass psychogenic illness, a psychological condition that occurs under extreme stress or social pressure. Strasbourg in 1518 was a city on the brink, its population suffering from famine, disease, and political instability. These conditions may have created a collective psychological breaking point, triggering hysterical behaviors that spread through social contagion. The power of suggestion, combined with shared anxiety and despair, could have turned an isolated incident into a widespread epidemic. Another hypothesis points to ergot poisoning, caused by consuming rye bread contaminated with ergot, a toxic mold containing compounds similar to LSD. Ergotism, or St. Anthony's fire, was a known affliction in medieval Europe, capable of causing hallucinations, violent muscle spasms, and convulsions. If ergot poisoning were the culprit, it could explain the dancers' frenzied and uncontrollable movements, as well as the mass nature of the event. However, this theory has been questioned, as ergot poisoning typically produces symptoms such as intense pain and gangrene, which were not reported in conjunction with the dancing plague. The event's broader cultural and symbolic implications are as compelling as the mystery itself. The dancing plague reflects the fragility of the human psyche and the ways in which collective fear and suffering can manifest in dramatic, even catastrophic ways. It is a stark reminder of the intimate relationship between mental and physical health, especially in times of widespread hardship. The incident also underscores the importance of understanding historical context when interpreting seemingly irrational phenomena. In a world without modern medicine, where explanations for illness and misfortune were steeped in religion and superstition, such an outbreak was not only terrifying, but also deeply mystifying. What makes the dancing plague of 1518 particularly enduring is its refusal to conform to a single narrative. Was it a spiritual crisis, a psychological collapse, or a physiological reaction to environmental factors? Perhaps it was all of these and more, a convergence of pressures that revealed the delicate balance between the individual and the collective, between the mind and the body. To this day, the dancing plague captivates the imagination, offering a window into the strangeness of human history and the mysteries of human behavior. It challenges our assumptions about the past, reminding us that truth is often stranger than fiction and that the human condition is as much a puzzle as it is a marvel. The streets of Strasbourg, where hundreds danced themselves to death, are silent now. But the echoes of this bizarre episode remain, a haunting and enigmatic testament to the limits of human understanding.